and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So today I have another video review and unboxing here. This is a pen I have had in my collection for some time, and I purchased this in 2017, and I knew that this would be a very limited edition set, so I decided I would try and get hold of it as soon as it was released, or soon after. So let me open the box. This is the Visconti Brunelleschi. Now, if I zoom out a little bit, you'll see the entire pen there. Now, it is a limited edition set. Now, you get this special booklet, which is actually quite amazing, actually. So it is limited edition. It actually goes into, if I try to zoom in a little bit, you'll maybe see this a little bit better. It actually goes into how the pen was made, and how it is a homage to the great architect and the dome of the cathedral in the largest artifact in the world, made of Florentine cotto, or terracotta. And this is the lovely pen that you can see there. Now, it tells you all about the age-old traditional product of terracotta, and it goes into detail about earth, water, air, and fire, and how it's getting the clay into the kiln, and describes the entire process. It even gives you the technical specifications of the pen, and this is probably one of the most detailed booklets that I have actually received from Visconti. I think the only other one that was as detailed was the Ducali Palazzo. This is, and obviously it goes into Italian, so I won't go into that too much. It's the same images, and then you have at the very rear, you have the ID card, and this is the fountain pen, 23 karat palladium dream touch, rose gold finishing, Brunelleschi limited edition set, compound of cotto Florentino, high vacuum power filler or power vac, and this is a limited edition number of 388 pens, and this is 296. So that is the booklet. Now, you get a number of things in this set, and this is another reason why I actually liked it. So first off, you get the stunning pen, and this really is a nice pen. You also get an eyedropper, and you think, well, why are they giving you an eyedropper? The reason for the eyedropper is, if I remove this out of the way, the reason for the eyedropper is that basically you get a travelling inkwell with it. So the idea is basically you fill the inkwell up with your ink, basically to this line, this maximum ink level, do not overfill line, and you fill it up by using this, by getting the ink out of your bottle and literally just eyedropping it into the inkwell. And it is I love these inkwells, and because these inkwells aren't cheap either, so it's actually to have that come with a pen. Whenever I see a pen, I try to get one with an inkwell. So that's that. You also get a bottle of Visconti Brown ink, and so that's in a glass bottle. And this is, I think, does it actually tell you how many? It doesn't tell you how many milliliters it's in there, but it's certainly a sizable, probably 50 or 60 milliliters, I would think, ink bottle, and it is glass, so quite weighty. And then you get this. Now, unfortunately, you cannot remove this, but it's a terracotta tile, and it's actually got Brunelleschi stamped into it. And it's actually a rough tile. Not the same texture as the pen, but it's lovely to have this in here. I'd love to be able to remove this without damaging the case. You might be able to pull it out, but I think it's going to damage the leather. It would be nice just to have that as a brick on your desk. So I think Visconti maybe missed the boat on that one in terms of having it removable. Maybe they glued it in because they didn't want that rattling around and smashing the glass bottle. Maybe, I'm not too sure, but it's a lovely set. And I think these will pull out, so you can pull all of these out if you want to, and use it as a much bigger box to put things in if you wanted to do that. So that's certainly a possibility. But this pen, if I zoom in a little bit, you'll be able to see it is a lovely pen. So it's made from terracotta with resin, so it's very similar, in similar ways, designed and manufactured the same way that the Lava Edition was manufactured. They basically take the base material. In the Lava Edition, it was lava. In this edition, it's terracotta. And then they mix in, so basically they grind it down into a fine dust, and then they add in resin, and they mix it together, and it creates this lovely, very strong pen. Now, you'll see here, if I come from the cap, you'll see it actually has the Visconti logo here, and I think it's laser etched. It's not enamel. You can just about see that there. And it's done in an octagonal type of shape here. But it's a lovely pen, and then you have this exquisite center band here that is stunning, and the pen tapers down slightly as you get towards the end, and then you have another ring, and then you have the power vac knob or piston knob. But the pen itself, it's very smooth to the touch. It's almost like, it feels rubbery. I don't know, like if you run your finger over like an eraser, a rubber, is what we would call them in the UK. I know rubber in some cultures, in some countries, actually means something entirely different. But let's use an eraser, a pencil eraser. So if you have a long one, and then you rub your finger over it, and you have that like smooth type feeling if it's a smooth one, and that's kind of what it feels like. So it doesn't feel like a rough tile, and you can see it is very smooth. If I try to zoom in, like, you will now and again see like the odd blemish here, but it is a very smooth pen, and it's quite warm to the touch as well, I would say. Now, in terms of nib, I got this with a medium nib. It's got the hook safe lock mechanism on it, so it's just a quarter of a turn, and then you can unlock it. And that is the nib. So it's a 23 carat palladium nib in a medium, and I've just inked this up, so there's a little bit of ink around the base of the section there. So you tend to want to wipe that off because it will. It can stain if you're not careful. It's not, as far as I'm aware, it's not hygroscopic like the lava is, but it's just something just to bear in mind. So I have this inked up with there's an ink that I love to put in here. I don't put the Visconti ink that came with it. So I find Visconti inks tend to be more on the drier side. So I like a wetter ink. So I have in here Rohrer and Klinger Alt Bordeaux, and I love that ink. So that is, I will do a writing sample in a little bit, but it's a really nice pen with a gold trim, and this is a pen that I keep coming back to. Now, I know a few people complained on the early batches that the caps were cracking, the edge of the caps. Now I have not seen this on mine. It's like the edges where it's been cut is a little rough now and again, you can see, but I've not actually had the cap split. Now, I was told when I bought this that this was the re-engineered version to make the cap a little bit stronger, but that may be why I haven't had this crack on me. So, but it's a lovely, lovely, stunning pen. So, let's zoom back out. Let's put some of these boxes in and we'll pack this up, and then I'll show you a comparison with other pens. So in terms of size measurements, we're looking at around 145 millimeters for the full body and around 60 millimeters for the cap. Now uncapped, we are looking at around 132 millimeters. Now, in terms of weight, we are looking for a full body inked. We're looking at just over 42.5 grams. The cap itself, just over 15 grams, and then the body we're looking at 27.5 grams inked exactly. So from left to right we have the Visconti Belgica, we have the Visconti Ecstasy de Aude, we have the Visconti Speakeasy, the Medici Il Magnifico, we have the Brunelleschi, we have the Luxor Obelisk, we have the Opera Silver Dust, we have the Homo Sapiens London Fog, we have the Divina Elegance, this is the oversized version in green with rose gold trim, and we have a Pelikan M800 Royal Gold Rawdon. So let's do a writing sample then. So this is the Visconti Brunelleschi in a medium nib, and this is, I'm not going to write this out all in, but this is R and K, and it's Alt Bordeaux. And in terms of line variation, so I said this is a medium nib, so this is just without any pressure whatsoever. And now if I start to add a bit of pressure, you can see that you get a lot more line variation. Now again, this is a palladium nib. Now I've told you on a number of videos that it's best not to push it too far. It's not a flex nib and it's not a semi-flex nib, but you can get quite a bit of line variation out of it if you so choose. Just be very careful. Now in terms of wetness, so this nib came very, very, very dry. Now that still is actually quite a dry pen for me. It's wet, but it's not fire hose wet. But it is sort of more on the medium wet side, I guess. So a number of pens that I got in 2017, new models, did actually write extremely dry, and this was one of them. And I flossed the tines massively to improve the wetness of this nib, and I didn't make it a super fire hose nib, but I made it fairly wet. So for me, this is a nice writing nib, especially for a medium nib. But it's just one of those things. Some people like more fire hose nibs or wet nibs, and some people like more dry nibs that you can write in journals and turn the page without having to wait too much. So for me, like this wetness is probably more on the ideal point of view for an average day usage with a medium nib. I do tend to like them wetter than this though, but for this pen I decided not to go too overboard in terms of wetness. So there you have the video. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye bye. I purchased this pen from Chris at Truffet Ink. You can get this pen from any reseller that sells these pens. If you want a good deal, contact Chris at truffetink.com. Tell him Penultimate Dave sent you, and I'm sure he'll do you a good deal.